really wonderful to welcome you here to join Ed and I. We're in London here, and we're excited. We've got a really good and amazing program lined up.
We certainly have. We have a full house of you guys out there around the world and comfy chairs. They're not wearing kilts. We were in Bruges last year. There is no dancing planned as fair as anywhere, but we are going to have some fun over the next 90 minutes.
And we have got some pretty horrendous trousers on. Many of you know me. My name is Guy Bigwood. I am the Chief Change Maker and the CEO of the GDS movement. And I'm joined today by Ed Gillespie. Many of you know Ed also. Ed is a sustainability pioneer, an inventor, a evangelist. He is part of the Futurenauts. He's a co-founder of Futera. And perhaps most importantly, he is the chief futurist of the GDS movement.
And my job as a futurist is not to predict or analyze existing trends, but to listen to the real questions the future is asking of us. We're rosing with fewer bows tonight. And we have participants from over 80 destinations and 50 different countries out there in your audience. Excited to bring the results of the index tool today.
So we've decided to do things a little different. First of all, it's online. We've never done this before, the ceremony, but we wanted to reach more people than we've done in the past and do it in a different way. So no fancy scripts. We just kind of thought we'd have a conversation, invite some really great voices and people from the community to come and share. We've got some great stories. So how are we going to start?
We are going to start by putting on our hats. So you were probably prompted out there to have gathered some unusual or entertaining headwear or headgear or headdress, or whichever you feel is the most appropriate. So Guy and I are going to don ours, going obviously for a very sensible trilby, albeit one with a very handsome floral trim to bring a bit of colour. Guy, how would you describe your headgear? I should say this is Guy's hat, and he didn't see it before this afternoon. So this is what you call a snatch up.
I'm feeling very embarrassed, I think is probably the word. And if ever you ask your friend Ed to do a favor and say, could you bring along a hat for me because I forgot mine? Just be prepared to what he's going to do. So
yeah, you look like a cross between a rabbit and a British judge for the sort of like wig.
Yeah, I guess that's the assessment nature of the index, really.
But there was a rationale, isn't there, behind us wearing hats? Do you want to just tell us the story about why we're wearing hats?
Yeah. At the GDS movement for now, I don't know, about 5 years, when we welcome a new GDS change maker to the team, we always, the team gather first on Zoom, don on a hat, and then the new person turns up without a hat on, turns up and sees everyone hats and feels like, oh my God, what's this? And last was, it's a crazy scene. So it's something we've always done, and we want to extend that to you guys.
So you will now know.
Well, take this off.
You can take that off now. Yeah, we can take our hats off. But you guys should be taking photos of yourselves in your hats and sending them in to us. We'll share the link in a moment for a chance to win a free ticket to next year's GDS-Forum.
Oh.
But before we do that, and before we dive into the show full, let's talk about doing a little bit of icebreaker interaction. So we have a little bit of interactive fun. We're all gathered here together, even if it's virtually, and we want to hear it from you guys. So we've got a few quick questions lined up to get those brains buzzing and those fingers tapping. There's a couple of housekeeping tips I need to share with you beforehand. So this session is recorded, so you will receive a copy of it afterwards. Please ensure to upload your hat or headdress photo now. Now, there will be a link in the chat to do that. And that will, as I say, give you a chance to win a free ticket to next year's forum, and we will reveal the winner later on. Please use the Zoom chat for any comments or questions or reactions during the show, so everyone can see what you think. And we will ask you to share questions to our award winners via the Mentimeter platform. So it'd be good if everyone could just join that Mentimeter platform right now. You simply go to www.menti.com, that's MENTI.com on your device, and enter the code 12236787 or scan that QR code you can see on the screen. And then once you're in, all the questions at the relevant times will pop up and you can answer them accordingly. So let's start with the first question, shall we?
So these are a little warm up to the serious question.
Yeah, just to get you the kind of mood. So, what's your favourite song for a celebration? We're here celebrating this afternoon, and we're going to make a collaborative playlist from your answers. So suggest something that will get us all smiling and going. So you guys can start typing your song titles in now for your favourite songs for a celebration. But Guy, what is your favourite song for a celebration?
I think I've Got a Feeling, Black Eyed Peas. I like that. It's a good one to get me boogie.
You are old school. You are old school indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably go for something a little darker, like Enjoy Yourself, It's Later Than You Think.
What's that name?
I can't remember.
Oh.
It's an old reggae track.
Oh, reggae. Yeah.
Or a ska track.
500 miles we got coming up there.
That's celebration from last year. Don't Stop Me Now.
What a Wonderful World.
There we go. Fire Out, Katy Perry. Very popular with my 8-year-old daughter, that one.
Okay.
What a Wonderful World. So this is going to make a great playlist.
This is awesome, mate. This would be the new playlist. This is a playlist for next year.
Yeah, there we go.
At the forum.
All agree. Okay, well, let's go on. I'm loving these. Let's go on to the next question. Because joy is sustainability's secret ingredient.
Exactly.
The second question is, what brings you joy and pleasure in life? Now, this might seem simple, but it is what energizes and fuels us. So share what makes you happy, and let's inspire each other. Guy, what gives you joy and pleasure?
I think it's there in big letters, nature. I like spending time outdoors. That's really what gives me balance and joy.
And what do you like to do outdoors?
I love climbing. Biking is probably my big thing at the moment.
Yeah, because I heard that, you are making a habit of falling off your bike uphill.
Yeah, I got fed up of falling off downhill. So now I'm specializing falling off going uphill.
Excellent. So what have we got coming in from the gang? We have nature, family, food, friends, a lot of those intimate things, and actually a lot of the things that we also enjoy when we travel.
Yeah, exactly, very much. And when we did a bit of work recently about values of the GDS movement, joy was one of the key 5.
There we go. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you for sharing those. And then finally, if you could wave a magic wand, what one thing would you change to accelerate sustainability in tourism and events? So we want to hear big ideas here, your big visionary ideas, so we can share them with everyone and potentially build them into the GDS-Index program in the coming years. But Guy, you must have a few magic wand moments.
Yeah, I guess tap that one. I guess I would like all destinations around the world to be on the GDS-Index.
Okay. Can we have a slightly less self-serving suggestion?
Okay. All right. So maybe something that we really believe in, that every destination would have a regenerative strategy for the visitor economy. So something touching their events and their tourism side of things, and really not just the creative one, but the implementing it's working.
Fantastic. And okay, let's see what we've got coming in. People want funding, obviously. Well, the magic funding wand or the magic money tree. Interested clients.
Yeah, clients interested.
Yeah,
that one.
That's a good one. The mindset.
Yeah.
Carbon neutral flights.
Stop reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subject
I like that one.
heart. Carbon capture and green fuel for airplanes. Obviously, aviation is often one of our big challenges and big sticking points. Creating better railway network. Lovely. Okay, well, thank you very much for those, everyone. Those are just our warm-up questions to get us going. But, guys, should we get stuck in?
Yeah, so the theme of today is called Shifting Tides. And this is also the name of the report that will be launched at the end of today. It's the launch of the report of the GDS Index. So Shifting Tides. So I guess my first question to you, Ed, is really, it's a year since we were wearing kilts in Bruges. What are the shifting tides that you're seeing at a global level, at a high level? You're working with lots of industries, so I'm really interested to see your point of view of what's shifting.
Yeah, I mean, I say Bruges feels like a long time ago already. It's like I think many of us look at the future like this.
Yeah.
Kind of squinting through our fingers if we're brave enough to come out from behind the back of the sofa. And we have to be honest. I think it's really challenging out there. There's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of disturbance going out in the global arena, but I think we're seeing a definitive transition away from just ambition and aspiration to tangible action. And obviously that's driven by a whole bunch of different forces coming together. There's climate, there's the economics, and then there's the social pressures. And in a sense, that's that reality is starting to really bite. And that's what shifted the conversations. You know, it's not longer about if we act, but it's how we act and at what speed.
Mm.
And then that manifests in kind of three major ways. So the climate crisis is no longer a future threat. It's not something happening to someone else,
today, right?
somewhere else tomorrow. No, it's here, it's now, it's us.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. It's a present day disruptor. You know, it's really happening in the now, and it's impacting operations, supply chains, and destination resilience on a daily basis. And it's really hard to deny that when so many destinations are quite literally on fire or flooding, you know. And I think the question the future is asking us, to my earlier point about futurism, is like, how hot are we going to allow it to get?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of the way we should be looking at it. And then coming from that is the profound social change. So I think there's a really justifiable grassroots demand for more equity and inclusivity and genuine community benefit from the visitor economy. So a tourism that authentically works for everyone. And that brings a deeper understanding that sustainability is never just about the green and environmental. It's really about people, and it's about how the money is made and where it goes and who gets the benefit of that. And then finally, there's a kind of economic volatility, the up and down and uncertainty of the global financial world, which is forcing a wholesale rethink of a lot of those old business models. So whether stakeholders are businesses, travelers, or communities receiving tourism, they're all looking for a different type of holistic change. And that's really reshaping people's expectations and what they want to get out of tourism. And things aren't just changing. I think they're changing a lot faster now. So there's a lot of pressure that happens there. But I'm really interested. I think those are the kind of the macro trends, you know, the climate, the social change and the economic volatility. But what's the data from the index telling you about what's going on?
And I think it's very similar. I'm going to maybe pick on 3 roses and 3 thorns. So the roses is one, we call it climate action. I've seen a phenomenal amount of change on environmental action and climate action from destinations around the world. Just in 1 year, we've got 50% more of you guys out there have climate action strategies than you did a year ago. You know, we've got almost doubling on the amount of cities signing up to the UN Glasgow Declaration. So some really positive side of that. We're seeing real initial initiatives around pushing recycling, pushing food sustainability. So really good stuff. But perhaps that's the easy bit we're starting to see now. What used to be, and this is an interesting point, what was really scary, really impossible. Today we're starting to see there's a way forward. We haven't worked it all out, but we kind of know a path how to go through it forward. The social piece is starting to be a bit more scary, a bit harder to work around. How do we engage people? How do we take people on that journey? So I think the second point then is really about moving to that next level, which I call a kind of embedded level or a regenerative level, where we're kind of moving away from first level is starting up, which many of you are way beyond, but some of you are still starting up, to that kind of integrated level where you have sustainability action in silos, to the third level where you start to really embed it into your DNA, your culture, your way you run the business, to run the DMA, the destination, etc. And you start shift to that regenerative mindset, which is really about all the positive stuff that we can do to use tourism, to use the events industry to catalyze urban change, urban transformation. And that's really exciting. So I think that's that kind of second thing. And then connected to that, which is almost an indicator of success, really, than actual the change, is how certification is driving forward. So now we have destinations who have 98% of their suppliers certified. The average across this group of people here, these group of destinations, is 53%. That's much higher. I think the average is less than double that in other cities that are not part of the GDS index. So phenomenal change there. That's the positive stuff anyway.
Yeah. So those are the roses, but obviously, you know, you mentioned the fact there's thorns. So if we're really honest, what's the challenging stuff that's happening out there at the same time as those successes?
I think this is definitely one of the most challenging times I've ever had in this industry. One, we are being kind of imposed with a sustainability recession, as our friend John Elkington would say, or sustainability vacation. And I don't think it's people just don't care about it. Obviously, there are some challenging places in the world. It really is. There's a war on sustainability. And we're not going to go there today, but we know that exists. And hats off to those of our audience out there tackling with administrations to keep sustainability on the top of the radar. And so it is a challenge. The recent figures from Destination Next report from DI saw that sustainability by DMO CEOs had dropped from the 4th priority to the 24th priority. So, and again, that's because there's a lot's going on. It's not about we don't care.
Yeah.
So that goes to the next thing, which is right there is brutal budget cuts hitting DMOs and destinations around the world, especially if you're nationally funded, which some organizations are here in this group. So many of you are dealing with some tough times and tough decisions to make. Where do we focus? Yeah. I think 3, the whole kind of concept of legislation. New legislation around sustainability, and there's a bit of a chaos. Some is being passed, some is being kicked back. You've seen what's happening with Omnibus, with Green Claims Directive, but other things are going forward, not just in Europe. Remember, we've got new legislation coming in September next year that requires us to back up our claims. But we've got C59 in Canada coming through, something that our team is supporting with many destinations to implement, and a lot of it's good. It's against the greenwashing, and then 4th, I guess we've got AI kind of disrupting everything, right? Which is good and bad, and we're just rabbits in the headlights at the moment trying to work out what that really means.
I mean, I'm resigned to the fact that next year you will replace me with AI.
Well, I was actually thinking about it.
But it's interesting, and what you're saying actually really aligns with what I think is being seen in other sectors as well.
Yeah.
So I think you've got those similar political and economic pressures creating a sort of heads down response amongst a lot of sustainability professionals in other fields. But
and I actually think that kind of makes the reason why we're here even more important. There's a clearer purpose.
Yeah.
We need more leadership.
Exactly.
We need to battle through these waves of change, these shifting tides, and drive forward. So I think our purpose as a movement together, working together, is even more clear.
Absolutely. But what about the world of business events? So what's trending there? I mean, we've heard a lot about subvention, for example.
Yeah.
And that's a new term for me. As a self-declared insultant, I'm all for subversion. But what's subvention and why is it changing?
Okay, so a subvention is something a destination would use. It's either a financial or a in-kind incentive to attract in most cases, an association to bring their event to a destination. Okay. And this has happened for years. It's something we don't always talk about it. It's a way to incentivize events to come to our destination. What is really interesting over the last few years, many of you out there in the audience have seen that there's an opportunity to put some conditions on the incentives we offer. So, and we're starting to look, how do we tie that to sustainability? So you can come to my location, my destination with your event, with your congress, but you kind of have to follow our sustainability rules.
Yeah.
All right. So 1 for 1, or the other way around. If you come to us and you follow this and you really have a legacy aspect and you work with the community, then you'll get additional funding or additional support. It doesn't have to be financial. And that's really exciting. So there's a lot happening around this. There's a report coming out, I think, in 2 days' time, together GDS movement with Meet for Impact and Confily. And the team, and especially Confily, has done amazing work at looking at this. And it's not all plain sailing. We all know it should be done. We don't always know how to do it. And there's a kind of disconnect. So this report explores that. So exciting times.
So we need to pay attention to the changing conventions of subvention.
Yes.
So it sounds like those shifting tides that we referred to earlier. Now, there are about those 3 global trends.
Yeah.
So there's that moving from talk to action, from funding to value, and from working in silos to proper collaboration.
Yeah.
But so what's going to happen next? What do you need to do in the next section?
So it's kind of like moving from strategy to action. And so the GDS index was kind of created to be a part of that. And so let's explore that.
Yeah, let's have a look at the results.
Right, so let's kind of get into some of these data. But first, before we go there, I'd like to share a slide and actually recognize something really, really important here. it's 10 years. 10 years ago, we launched this on a global level. So this is a decade of progress. This is this is amazing. I think launching something is the easy bit. Trying to keep it going, keeping it sustainable is always difficult. So I'd like to send a big thank you. First of all, next slide here, next slide. We will see that we have a lot of amazing destinations out there. Right. So, yeah, well, thank you. Brilliant. So a big thank you to all of you. And many of you have been with us since the beginning. You co-created it and you work together. And this co-creation has always been what we're about. This is a program for destinations by destinations. So I'd like to say thank you first for all of you. Secondly, I'd like to thank our founding partners.
Yeah.
This would not have been possible unless MCI had invested in this. So if you're listening, if any of you there, Sebastian Tonder and the team, Robin, Urin, etc., MCI, you really, thank you. I mean, you made this happen. It could have died, but they supported this the whole time. Thank you to IMEX for really you've been there the whole time and helping us by creating a platform for us to share this with the meetings and events industry. ICA, you were one of the first kind of partners in crime for this. So thank you for your work. And City Destinations, you really allowed us to take this from a focus just on the events industry to now a tourism program as well. So it's not just about events, and we found that. So thank you to that. But the index doesn't just happen on its own, right? There's a lot of work to create the criteria. So I'd like to thank all of our technical advisory committee out there. There's a group of amazing experts from all areas, from destinations, from academia, from NGOs, all around the world. This is an amazing group of people. It's such inspiring. And they are the ones that vet, approve, challenge, kick us in the legs when we come up with silly ideas that are not going to work. So thank you to you. And then lastly, I'd like just to thank the GDS movement, really, the team, the GDS change makers themselves. There's an amazing group, mainly women. There's Chad and myself and Ed here, but the rest are an amazing group of women from all around the world who are making this happen. So really, from my heart to you guys, thank you. So
Give us some numbers.
Give some numbers. But there's the thanks out the way, right? So it's 10 years driving change. And these are some really exciting things. So we have 151 destinations have been through the index, which is a good number. That 151 destinations represents 231 million residents, people that are touched by the work that you guys out there are doing. And that is equivalent, or no, that's not the right word. It touches 2 to 3 billion visitors globally around the world who are now touched by the work we're doing. So for me, that's pretty impactful. So we've done over 623 assessments over the years, 626 assessments, over 738 users are signed up using this platform. And we've got 56 destinations have actually been here for over 5 iterations of the index. So I'm really, really delighted at the impact. And this is something we're looking more at and trying to model this and understand and learn from.
Well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, that's the real power of the index.
Yeah.
It's like it's not just a measure; it's a catalyst that hopefully drives better decision making. Gets that collaboration going, and ultimately helps destinations save time and money.
Well, that's what we wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
Unlock the collective energy intelligence.
Yeah.
By playing with a bit of competition as well. So people always criticize, you shouldn't compete. Yeah, well, maybe we shouldn't, but we know it kind of makes a difference too.
Well, yeah. So you should know, you should be proud of the incredible decade of progress, and I can't wait to see what the next 10 years bring. But my question would be is it just big cities doing this? Can you tell us a bit more about the mix of destinations involved and their relative scales?
Yeah, so it's not. It's a real mixture. Look at this geographically. We got 35 Northern European cities. It started in Europe. It's expanded. We've got 13 destinations in Asia Pacific, 12 in North America. So really kind of some nice growth out there. We will bring in LATAM on board in the next year. So that's going to be some exciting stuff there. And it's all different sizes of cities. Okay. We've got 30 large cities, we get 19 medium, 15 metropolis, 16 small. So it works for everyone. And that's always been the challenge. And again, back to the TAC and the team, trying to make a program that works for everyone is the challenge. And that's not easy.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's quite a mix, isn't it? It's quite a diverse mix of different scales. But can you tell us a little bit more about the actual change being implemented across those different destinations?
Yeah, and I think this is my favorite slide out of all slides. If you look at the last 10 years, we've had a 31% increase in average performance. That's the lower blue line, the dark line, and a 46% increase in the top 10.
Wow.
So phenomenal change. And you've got to remember that the key thing about the index is that it does change every year, not like certifications and other programs. We have a different focus. We want to keep pushing and driving. It's a performance accelerator program. This is what this is all about. And so I love that chart.
Lovely. So, I mean, I think it's really quite humbling to see how this idea of momentum has built, isn't it? And how tirelessly you and your team have worked in collaboration with all your partners around the world. It's really impressive. But before we get into the awards, there's one more thing I'd like to invite you just to comment on a little bit and perhaps explain to the audience, because maybe not everyone knows about the nuts and bolts of how the index works. So can you tell us a little bit about the methodology of how it functions?
Yeah, let's have a look at that now. Okay, so for those of you not familiar, the GDS is based around 4 categories, kind of 4 pillars. So we work with the cities and our contact people out there to collect information and answer criteria, qualitative and quantitative criteria or questions. First column is questions about the city, environmental program, shall we say, and the performance of that. So is there a climate strategy for the destination? How many carbon emissions are there per capita? Is there a waste management program? What's the waste per capita? So always kind of where are you today and where are you going in the future? We want to look at strategy, and that's kind of that mixed qualitative and quantitative. We do the same around social performance of a city. So those really looking at the municipality, the administration, public administration. Then we look at the supply chain. So again, is there a program for certification of hotels? What percentage of hotels are certified? Things like that. So we look at that across the supply chain, and then the destination management focus. So is there a strategy for destination sustainability or regeneration or impact? What's in it, and how well is it working? So all of those areas. So those are kind of 77 criteria aligned to GSTC, aligned to the SDGs, and that's what we change and improve every year with the Technical Advisory Committee.
Right. So that's the kind of co-creation and the continuous improvement.
Yeah.
Right. Amazing. So thank you for explaining that. But now it is the time where everyone gets together for the reason we've been drawn here today. And you can sense that little digital frisson of excitement amongst all the groups watching around the world. So this is our Eurovision Song Contest, our Oscars. But this year we're doing things a little differently. So traditionally we present 4 awards. But for 2025, we're going to announce 2 of the winners today live with all of you. And the first is the Leadership Destination Award, which is obviously given to the destination with the very highest overall score on the GDS index. And this is the destination that's obviously setting the global standard. And then the second is the Most Improved Destination Award, which unsurprisingly goes to the destination that has made the biggest leap forward that year. So why just 2? Most people probably live in fear of award ceremonies where you have to go and sit through 24 awards. So we've gone back for a very lean and agile approach.
Yeah.
Well, we're saving something special. So the winners of the Impact Award and the Innovation Award will be announced at a live in-person celebration at the GDS-Forum and Impact Day next June. And we want to honour those achievements face-to-face with the community. So we will open the submissions for those 2 awards in early 2026. But also, you've got to stay with us to the end of this celebration today, because we have another big reveal, which was we will announce which city will have the honour of hosting the GDS-Forum and Impact Day next year.
Exactly.
So that's exciting.
And you've got to stay for that, because this is a big one.
You know when we'll be. So we won't
exciting.
distribute it around the world next year. We'll hopefully be gathering in this amazing place. So now is the time for us to meet the top 3 shortlisted for the Leadership Award. So if we can run that videotape, and we will get to see who is on that hot shortlist. Great. Well, wow. That's quite an impressive shortlist. There is always something magic in the water in Scandinavia, isn't there?
It is something there, isn't it? And 3 amazing cities who haven't stopped, really, have they? I mean, you were recently in Helsinki.
I was in Helsinki in the spring. Yeah, I would say it's a fierce but friendly competition between the Scandinavian cities. And no, I had an amazing time in Helsinki speaking at their big annual tourism event, and I was incredibly impressed. I think we'll talk about some of these things when we get there. But
and I was in Copenhagen and Gothenburg recently. Amazing work there. I think Copenhagen, with their work achieving EarthCheck certification, launching a second version of CopenPay to really reach out and work with changing visitor behavior. I was in Gothenburg, I think it was last week. It's just amazing how they're taking the whole supply chain with it. It's part of the DNA. So all of those 3 destinations to me are winners, and how they're sharing their knowledge and taking others with them.
And it's only you who could be in each of those destinations in the same week. Yeah, I mean, I think what's clear when you look at those 3 cities is that each of them is forging their own path to excellence. They've each got their own unique attributes. All equally impressive individually, and it's nice that everyone is trying to do things their own way and in their own style, because that's what's really important. But
who's the winner?
Yeah, well, let's look at the leadership winner for the year. So if we can make the big revelatory announcement, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Well-deserved winner in this year's Index Awards for the Leadership Award. We are going to be very privileged in a moment to be joined by Jukka Punamaki, who is the Senior Advisor for Tourism in the City of Helsinki. But before we do, you've got a chance to ask your questions of Jukka, our awards winner, in the Mentimeter link, which is in the Zoom chat now. So you will get a chance to ask questions directly of Jukka. So if there's questions that are burning, get them into that Mentimeter link so we can visit them in a moment. But yeah, I was lucky enough to meet Jukka when I was in Helsinki in the spring. And I was blown away by what they were doing in terms of the kind of comprehensive approach. And, you know, I went in with my usually fairly provocative style, and no one blinked an eyelid, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, I love it. And we will hear this for a second from Jukka, but he says, you know, we're at 90 whatever % in the index. Does that mean we're at 90 whatever % of sustainability? And the answer is obviously no, right? We've all got a long way to go. And I love that how Helsinki are really driving that forward.
Yeah. Amazing.
Good stuff. Okay.
So do we have Jukka joining us? This is where we have...
There are many of us here, so we would like to have a joint discussion with you.
It's fantastic. Look at you guys.
So we can see all of you.
There's more of us, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful to see both of you again. Congratulations to everyone. This is great. Fantastic. And thank you for welcoming us with your hats. This is great. It's always, this is not going to sound right, but I was going to say it's easy to win once, but to keep it a second time is tough. But maybe that's not quite generous enough. But really, I mean, to keep the action and the energy going is amazing, right? So I guess my question really to all of you is, I remember seeing the strategies that you've done and thinking they're ambitious, but how have you gone from strategy to real action and making a difference? How have you done that journey?
Well,
First of all, thank you. We didn't even thank you for this honor. So, as you know, the Helsinki and Finland has always been quite strong in sustainability. But once we placed the sustainability as a core of our tourism strategy and started to really invest seriously in it, we began to make steady progress. And since then, of course, our development has been consistent, as seen in our GDS index: 18, 16, 12, 4, 1, and 1.
I love that journey. I mean, because you weren't at the top when you started, and you really have done a transformation. So well done.
Yeah, and when I was with you earlier this year, what I was struck by was the stakeholder engagement and the sort of scale and breadth of that, because the gathering of, I think it was 500 people, from across the Helsinki tourism industry was really impressive. But how do you bring all of those different stakeholders along with you, your bosses, your citizens, your businesses, and all the other stakeholders? How do you bring them along on that inclusive sustainability journey?
I don't see it as difficult. I think it's an easy job because, this is Helsinki. Sustainability is part of our DNA. So city employees, residents, and business in general, they are all very aware of the environmental and social issues, and they are important for this. But of course, there's still a lot to do. But I think we are in a good journey to be even better with our stakeholders as well.
So I'm gonna steal that question.
Go on then.
Because I love it that you keep innovating and inventing new things, think sustainably and all that. What's next? I'm excited to hear what's next on the journey.
Well, I don't know if it's much innovation. It's just hard work. Just working together with the companies and then, just pushing it. It's actually quite simple. We just need to get everybody involved. And that's the hard bit. So, and of course, we work together with our partners and want to learn from other destinations innovations. And that's one of the best parts with GDS Index, that we can learn from others.
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, I mischievously proposed that a "Don't Fly to Finland" tourism campaign.
Went well with the airline.
We weren't very happy about it.
I mean, it was one of the few things that when I've said something to an audience and got a spontaneous round of applause. So it obviously resonated in some way. But you have obviously plans to be carbon negative by 2030, which is really bold. And now you have this green destination certification, the first large city to get that. So how will the index continue to guide your progress and keep the pressure on for continual improvement?
Yeah, well, obviously, doing the GDS index and the green destination certification is quite hard, and there is a lot of overlap. So we really have to consider it in the future, what we're going to do with it. But I'm really happy to hear of the plans with GDS Index to maybe move forward with the certification, or at least get all the answers in the same Omni platform, and that will make our life definitely much easier if that will go forward in the future.
Yeah, and we'll tell you a bit more about that at the end of the session. So thank you. I guess brilliant. I this work is a teamwork. you've got a great group of people around there. There's hundreds of other people behind you. So from us, congratulations, well done. If I could, ceremoniously give you that award that is on the table in front of you. Well done. Thank you very much for your leadership.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive now into the 2025 GDS Index Top 40. Guy, tell us a bit more about the Top 40.
Okay, so that's the exciting one, is number one, but let's have a look at the rest of those figures. And here you can see them up there. And this is one of the most exciting top 40s I've seen in a long time. The first thing I want to do is talk about the change this year. Last year, there was 31 points difference between number 1 and number 40. This year's 24. So that's a phenomenal tightening.
Yeah.
So everyone's stepping up. And in fact, the cities outside of the top 40 are doing amazing work. And I always never want to forget that everyone's account and important here. This year, we have 9 new destinations in the top 40. And that's really exciting. Basel, Lucerne, Marseille, Kumamoto, who was our best improver last year. Milan, Manchester, who I was with on Friday, done amazing work. Ostersund, Strasbourg, Limerick, Ljubljana, and Amsterdam, who I'm really, really delighted to see moving up there too. So I'm blown away by that work. In the top 10, we got 4 new destinations. So there's a lot of change happening, and we're starting to see that challenge happening on our Nordic leaders.
Yeah, so I mean, it's great because there's a bit of dynamism, isn't there? So these things aren't static. It's not the same old places every year. There is a shift, and there's a turnover, and there's a little bit of healthy competition.
Totally. I mean, we look at 2 digital points here when we're looking at the scale. We're actually having to use 3 digital places to compare some of the cities. So some of you may have dropped out of the top 40 this year, or the top 10, or wherever you are. Don't be annoyed. Don't be shamed. It is brutal up there. Sometimes you have to have a year off, right, to focus on other things, and you can come back the year after. The most important for me is that continued long-term progress, and not perfection.
Lovely. So it's great, and it's really impressive, and well done to all those destinations.
Well done to everyone. And
so, who are the regional leaders? What's happening in the regions?
Yeah, so let's have a look at the next slide. So, exciting movement here. Melbourne has really stepped up this year. Big jump in performance. Fantastic work there done by the team. Singapore. What can we say? I love Goyang and the work they're doing. Small destination outside Seoul, really stepping up, and you'll see why in a minute. Brisbane's doing some great work. Sydney's doing some great work. So a lot of nice stuff happening there in Asia Pacific. North America, hats off, Montreal. Well done, even the team. Sarah Justine and Fanny, great work you're doing there. Quebec, I'm super impressed the work Quebec have been doing to really bring together the community, drive this certification forward. Very impressed with the innovation hub and the activities around startups and innovations. Very good. Victoria, Edmonton, and then DC. Hats off to the team in DC. That's tough to be in the US at the moment, and I really respect the work that Shelby and the team are doing there, because it is amazing. And hats off. What, Central and European Europe, Lyon's big jump from Lyon to come up into the top 10. So well done, Lyon team. I'm delighted that Barcelona have been on a big journey from outside of the top 40 into the top 40, building up, a bit like Helsinki, now up into the top 20. So well done, Barcelona. Berlin, consistent, doing great work. Bilbao, amazing work again. Basel really stepping up and really accelerating. So good stuff there. In Northern Europe, we've talked about the big 3 there. Aalborg, again, doing great work in Denmark. And another one I'm delighted to see the change happen over the years is Glasgow, and how they really, I think they really leverage big events to catalyze the change and have not stopped.
Yeah. I mean, that's all fantastic, but I mean, scale also matters, doesn't it? And it'd be really interesting. What do the numbers look like for the different sizes of city, for the different scales of city?
Yeah, and that's the good thing with the index. We can learn from everyone, but we can then kind of go a bit deeper and look at small cities. So I love the work done in Ireland, Fáilte Island. So Sam, Paul, you're out there. Congratulations to you for really enabling this this kind of team effort by the Irish destinations. And we can see Claire, Kerry, Galway doing amazing work. They're now going to the next stage of performance and looking at regenerative destination strategies. Again, the next level. So well done, small cities. Medium cities, again, Aalborg, Tampere has really done some great work in Finland. I love the work the Finnish destinations are doing, learning from some of the best practices of Helsinki, but scaling it, changing it, adapting it to work for smaller places. Aarhus, Belfast, got a lot of heart out there for Rachel and Jack. Last but one a few years ago in the index, and there they are at number 9. So well done to that team. Reykjavik, welcome back. You took a couple of years off. We're really delighted to see you back and firing. Big cities we kind of talked about. The mega cities, I think I'm going to call out really to Dublin there. Really stepped up. EarthCheck certification for the city, working on some amazing climate work.
Yeah.
So brilliant work there, Dublin. And I'm going to say hello again to Barcelona, because that's where I live and I love the work Barcelona team have been doing.
But it just goes to show, doesn't it? That doesn't matter what your size.
No.
You know, you can have ambitious and effective sustainability in action
Yeah.
at all of those different levels. So,
Yeah.
you know, congratulations again to all of the leaders in all of those different categories. But last and not least, so who's the top 5? We talked about the top 40. Who's the top 5 for each category?
Yeah, so this is interesting to go down deeper here. So we can see the Scandinavians are rocking with environment.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah.
Still a lot to learn from there. Great work happening. Stockholm, for example, really, really solid municipal strategy, energy, climate, waste, green areas, all that type of work. The supply chain is pretty mind-blowing in some of those areas. I can't remember the exact figure, but I think Helsinki, I think you're at 98% of your supply chain, of your hotels are certified.
Wow.
Gothenburg is slightly down. Tampere, Glasgow, I'm really shifted on that. That's really used the COP.
Yeah.
COP26, wasn't it, in Glasgow a few years to catalyze a shift. So I think that's good. Socially, I mean, there's a lot going, and I love to see Singapore kind of really stepping up there. I think we're in a shifting moment, and where we can really start to look and learn from Asia. The work I'm seeing coming out of Singapore, the work we've got coming out of Dubai and Abu Dhabi are part of the index this year, really starting to do some amazing work. So I'm excited to see how that will change in the next few years. Lastly, but not leastly, destination management. We know Copenhagen and the Nordics doing great work, but look at Goyang coming in at number 4th. Really, really great work at engaging their supply chain, their partners, their clients, and rethinking how things are done in Korea. So hats off to Goyang.
Yeah. I mean, and again, that's the secret, isn't it? The collective movement. You kind of want the cities that do well one year to be looking over their shoulder in a good way at who might be coming up behind them and what they can learn from them.
Yeah, and what Helsinki just said to us, it's not difficult. We've got to take people on the journey with us in some way.
Exactly. So congratulations to all of those placements in those different categories there, but we still got one more winner to be crowned. So we haven't yet looked at the top 3 most improved destinations yet. So these are the destinations that have been recognised for achieving the largest increase year on year in their GDS index score. So the ones that have made a really great leap forward. So let's have a look at the top 3 most improved contenders.
I guess the three of those destinations all starting, all wanted to get some help and support on the journey, knowing that they wanted to do something, they wanted to go forward. And you can really see that. I mean, Adelaide really shifting, the first strategy coming out from Adelaide, starting to move forward on that. Krakow, I got a big soft spot for the work that's happening in Krakow. We really used the ICA Congress to move forward a lot of the work there in Krakow. And now in the UK, Morvans. And what I like is that there's been a lot of work done by Visit England, Visit Britain on regenerative tourism. It's kind of one of those, it's one of those words everyone talks about, you know, but they've managed to take the theory into action and start moving that. So exciting work.
Yeah, and again, it's that theme is often finding a hook to catalyze further action around, as you say, like a conference, and also working with other in-nation communities and other destinations within the same country to help roll out that inspiration. I mean, that's how you have that magnified effect. So yeah, some really impressive work there. But now let's find out who the 2025 most improved destination is. So yes, indeed. Huge congratulations once again.
Amazing. And look, we got Tony joining us. Hello, Tony. Hey, fantastic.
Good evening.
It's a very good evening to you, or early morning, I guess it is in Australia, right?
It is just after midnight in Australia, yes. So hello to everybody, and sorry if we're looking a bit bleary over here.
Did you have a pre-celebratory drink already before you joined us?
No, we haven't. We've been in anticipation for this, so no, we're keeping a clear head.
Brilliant. And congratulations, Tony. I mean, it wasn't very long ago we met at IMEX, and you guys are saying you wanted to come and start action, and I'm really impressed at the work that's happening. So, have you done that? What kind of key actions or shifts have you seen to really make the progress happen so quickly?
Thank you, and congratulations to all the nominees, and obviously to Helsinki as well, and everyone in the top 40. And it's really an inspiration for us, and gives us a path to follow. Adelaide is known as being a very green city, and I think what has helped us to move forward so quickly is bringing everyone together. We have a very proactive state government. We've got a very proactive city council as well, and there you referenced their integrated climate strategy, getting the South Australian Tourism Commission and their new sustainability roadmap as well has really helped. Not to mention the convention centre, the Adelaide Convention Centre, which is the world's first convention centre to achieve EarthCheck recognition, and then also our airport, which is the first in Australia to have carbon neutrality. So really, I think it's what the catalyst has been harnessing all of that and pulling that all together, and just making it a coherent story.
That's amazing. And we're also interested, obviously, to understand how you engaged all of your community and your partners. We said Adelaide, is already known as a green city, but, it's still quite a challenge to get everyone from city officials to local businesses on board. How did you get them to turn that ambition into tangible results?
I think it's having a target, and I think you talked, Guy, earlier about the competition element. I think that's been really important. We've obviously got 4 or 3 very strong destinations in Australia, in Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, who've really set the benchmark. And so we really need to catch up. We need to compete. This is only our second year, but I think really the sporting mentality and the competition mentality in Australia has really taken over. So when we approached the various organisations with the concept and the idea, and told them that we were fourth and we needed to catch up, then the competitive juices took over.
Oh, that's amazing. Amazing. So I guess the obvious question is, what's next? How are you gonna keep that motion and momentum going forward?
Absolutely, we were feeling good until we saw what the other scores are. So we've still got a long way to go. Obviously, we want to make top 40, and that's certainly the target for next year. The other opportunity that we've got next year is COP. So there's a real possibility that COP will come to Adelaide. That decision's still to be made, and if it is, and hopefully it goes our way, that will really be an opportunity for us, and the legacy of that. You referenced Glasgow before. The legacy of that for Adelaide will be enormous. So those are, I guess, our targets for next year. One is realistic, and one is out of our hands. But certainly that's what we're heading for.
Good. And I know the GDS team, the events team, is working very much with MCI on putting together a proposal from that. So we hope we can help you and support you to bring it home to Adelaide. Yeah, exciting.
And finally, Tony, for the audience who are on this call, whether they're new to the index or just thinking about joining, what's your advice as a sort of relative newcomer to any of the new destinations watching this?
I think for anyone who hasn't joined, is definitely do it. We had a look at it and really decided to jump in, even though maybe last year we weren't prepared, but we really didn't know what we didn't know. So I think going through the process once really gave us a good grounding and a good opportunity to jump forward. And I think for the other destinations, it's really look at those achievable targets. Look at the things that you're able to do. Don't look at it as don't eat the elephant in one bite. It's really taking those small steps and incremental steps to make change. So I think it's just to keep going and keep looking at the things that make your destination different.
That's great. We're starting to get some good questions coming in.
Oh, great.
On Mentimeter. Maybe we can bring up Helsinki as well and share some of these questions. I'm going to pick on one for you, Tony. What's the initiative that you've developed that you're most proud about?
I would stand on the shoulders of giants here and talk about our sustainability strategy from SATC. So South Australian Tourism Commission. I think that the work that they've done in the last 12 months has under new leadership has been quite incredible. And as a business events unit, as we are, we can only touch the members and the organisations that we're involved in. We've really benefited from the Tourism Commission, the South Australian Tourism Commission, and the various stakeholders that they have, and smaller organisations and broader reach. So I think the work that they've done with their roadmap and actually codifying that for large, medium, and small organisations has been really helpful.
I saw that, and that's good. Having a North Star helps, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And that shared vision is great. I'm going to pick and ask a question for Team Helsinki. And it's a tough one. Is there such a thing as sustainable mass tourism? You're a capital city with a lot of people coming to visit it. Can you have sustainable mass tourism? I always got the good ones for Jukka.
Yeah, it's his turn,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. We can try to make it more sustainable. The truth is, tourism at the moment is not sustainable. It's highly unsustainable, and if we get people to fly to Helsinki, it's not sustainable. So, direct answer is no. But of course, we can try to make it more sustainable, and then I'm sure that at least in Helsinki, in a big city where we have good infrastructure and good processes, it's more likely to be sustainable than unsustainable in the future. But yeah, we have so big issues still to handle.
The one thing I love working with you guys is your humbleness as well. That we're a long way
Sometimes
to go,
sometimes too humble, I would say.
and I love Yuka's work with the TAC and developing the criteria, because he kind of slaps us down sometimes and reminds us what we're trying to do. I guess another question to Helsinki team is, you've done a lot this year. What are you most proud about in the last year since we gave you the first prize in Bruges?
Well, one thing that I'm really proud of is our tourism companies. Like you actually mentioned already, almost 100% of our hotels are certified. And then that's not only the hotels, it's also the other tourism companies that had really pushed certifications forward. And I know that certification is not the only thing, but it's a starting point for sustainability journey. And yeah, so I'm really proud of the tourism companies.
No, that's interesting. And there was you participated in a white paper with Simple View, Gothenburg, City DNA around that, and so it's not just about the certification; it's more than that. We'd like to share some of your philosophy around certification.
Yeah, well, the white paper was about GDS index and green destinations, all these different kinds of schemes. And the question is whether it's worthwhile to put all your effort into certifications, or is it a really good framework to push things forward? And I think, well, me being the one who puts the data in the GDS index and green destinations and sustainable travel program and all the other certifications that Helsinki does, it sometimes feels that it's so much work, and is it all worthwhile? But in the end, it gives the framework. I'm just a dumb small guy in Helsinki. I don't know anything about sustainability, but when we get the framework from GDS and from green destinations, all this, it helps us to move forward, and we know what we need to do. So I definitely feel that there's a place for certifications.
Yeah, they give us the framework, but we sometimes think that should we put more effort on actually doing things than reporting things? So that is kind of like a dilemma from my point of view.
You're right, and that's so important, that balance, and that's something I'm, having spent a lot of time reporting. I know that there's got to be the balance. So I think that's something we're very focused on, and we all should keep our eyes on that. Maybe one last question for Tony. I'm interested about that collaboration thing, because it's so easy, and Helsinki team said it right. We just started collaborating. We brought everyone together. It doesn't always happen so easy as that. So Tony, what would you say was the one biggest win you had this year in terms of collaboration?
Well, we have a very, we call it Team Adelaide. We've got a very collaborative approach across the city. We're a smaller destination. We're a small city, 1.3 million people, and so it's quite easy for us to link between government, between local council and private organisations as well. So I think the biggest advantage that we've got, even from a business events perspective, but also from a sustainability perspective, is that we can knock on doors and actually get answers. So just being able to work together and link together and to harness all of the little things that are going well, all those little pockets of innovation and creativity. And there's so many things that I didn't know about from our restaurant, blue or green hats, to various other, the number of cycle lanes that we have, or the amount of cycle lanes, and I'm finding out things that I didn't know, and passing that on to our members as well, and really generating a community that is interested and excited by this. So I think that the biggest win is really just the way that, particularly this year, in the second year, we've managed to open doors and talk to people that perhaps didn't respond last year. So it's starting to gather momentum.
I like that.
Great. Okay, so thank you so much to both of our winners for joining us for that Q&A. We will say a big, grateful and fond farewell to you guys now. because we now have a little game.
Oh,
there
game
for everyone.
Okay.
We're going to play a little game because after this game, we will announce the host city of the GDS Forum and Impact Day, which is taking place on the 16th to the 18th of June in 2026. So we're going to be playing you a short slideshow of images of the destination. And your job around the world there is to guess the host city of the GDS Forum and Impact Day based on those images alone. So please put your guesses into the Mentimeter chat function, just as before. If any of these images are striking a chord with you, ringing a bell in your mind, if you've had a marvelous experience in this place, then you will recognize it and you will be able to pop them into the chat. Guy, what are the suggestions we're getting in?
I can't see those yet.
You can't see those yet?
Here they come.
I can't see any of them. So I need to put my glasses on as they come in.
Copenhagen.
Copenhagen. Well, we can safely say it's not Copenhagen. It's not Spain. That's a country last time I checked.
Barcelona.
Not London, I don't think.
Not yet. Gothenburg.
No.
Not yet.
You know, couple of votes for London.
London.
Yeah, Benidorm.
Benidorm.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
Istanbul.
Yeah. Wow. So there's it's interesting
There.
diversity
Krakow.
of possible locations.
Yeah.
So people haven't sensed the cultural context of the place.
Hopefully the bids will be coming in from these destinations next.
Yeah, well, I know.
The 2027 forum.
Amazing. So, shall I announce the winner?
Yeah, I think
So, well, they're still coming in, but I'm going to say the host city. Let's see if anyone here has given the right answer for the GDS Forum and Impact Day 2026. Is going to be Szczecin in Poland. There we go.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone guessed that. Did
No.
they?
No. And certainly no one knew how to say it.
No.
And then probably no one knows where it is.
No. So Szczecin is situated near the Baltic Sea,
Szczecin.
2 hours from Berlin. Did I get it right?
Szczecin.
Szczecin. And Szczecin. I'm going to have to say it again. Szczecin. It's funny. There's strangely few English words with the combination of Z, C, Z in them, which is why
Thankfully.
my tongue is not doing a very good job of pronouncing them. Szczecin emerged from the devastation of World War II to reinvent itself. It has since thrived not by following a script, but by daring to invent its own future. So it's gone from being a shipbuilding powerhouse to a modern hub, pursuing an ambitious floating garden 2050 vision, making use of its waterways, and it embodies reinvention and courage. So we are very lucky now, I believe, to be joined by Leopold Korytkowski, who is the director of Visit Szczecin.
Okay, the video.
Hello everyone, welcome to Szczecin. Here we are in Poland. I'm here with Leo, who's the Director of Events and Tourism for the city. Welcome. This name, first of all, Leo.
First of all, it's pronounced Szczecin, but we're quite close, so that's important. Szczecin.
So tell me about your wonderful city.
It's a city rich with a history, with culture. We have influence from all over the Europe because city was trained by French, by Germans, by Polish people, by Russians as well, by Swedish too. But we're on the beginning of the path of the transformation. And we want you to join us on this journey.
Great, okay. So why should we invite these people? Why should they come to Szczecin?
Because Szczecin is one of the pioneers of the ecological approach to the city. In 2009, the mayor of the city coined the term Szczecin should be a floating garden. What does it mean? He said, okay, we have to switch towards the ecology. We have to switch towards sustainable energy. And as we spoke yesterday, like nearly 50% of the city's energy comes from the renewable resources. The plan is within 5 years' time to make it 100%. But the change is not only because of the industry, it's not only because the power, it's also about the people. And this where you actually could help us. Come over, share your experiences and help us change the way the people here think, the way the people behave, and show the industry what can we do better for the future.
So we want to invite you to be part of this living lab. So come and join us in June 2026 in this amazing city that many of you haven't visited to, and it's worth your time. So see you there.
I promise you a good time and hardworking people.
Wonderful. So, well, I'm excited about going to Szczecin next year. I mean, Finchley Central in North London is lovely, but yeah, I'd rather go to Poland.
Yeah. So thanks, Leo and the team in Szczecin. We're just back, Geneviève and I. It's an amazing place, and we're really excited to do something quite different this year. We decided to not only produce the GDS Forum and the Impact Day in a top destination, but we wanted to take it to somewhere that is really on the journey of regeneration and who could really use the event to accelerate their own mission. And that is what we're going to do.
Yeah, and that's great. So, for the uninitiated, would you want to tell us a little bit more about the joys of what the GDS Forum involves?
Yeah, so many of you have been at one of the two of the events, and you've been certainly at one of them. It's a fun event. Right? So the GDS Forum is an unconference, we could call it. We verve away from having lots of PowerPoint. It's all about unlocking the collective intelligence of the team and having very engineered, structured conversations that roll into and build on each other. So it's intentional, it's iterative, it's a process that really unlocks the collective intelligence of the sustainable destination management community. So you guys out there who are working on this day to day, so really focused on destinations. So that's the first part of it. And then we have the Impact Day.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's go right. So kind of so Tuesday, Wednesday is the GDS Forum. Then we had the GDS Awards. We talked a little bit about those.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing those in an even more outrageous way. We're going to be doing those at a fantastic venue. I'm not going to share that now, but we're really going to be pushing even what we did in Bruges in terms of a venue there. And then we go into the Impact Day, and I believe we've got Geneviève coming to join us, who's going to tell us a little bit about Impact Day.
Hello. Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Ed. It's delightful to be with all of you again. Hello to everyone, and dzień dobry to our Polish friends. For many years, my work with Meet for Impact, as you know, Guy and Ed, it's been dedicated to one goal. It's making sure that events around the world were embedding social impact into the very DNA of what they did. So to see Impact Day become a thing, like it's returning for a second year, it's becoming a series. It's exciting. And it's really, Impact Day is really about looking inside, but looking outside. It's about sharing knowledge, not just amongst ourselves, but with all of the ecosystems in cities that are focusing on creating impact for the cities and their citizens. So we're delighted to be deepening our collaboration. Last year in Bruges, as you'd mentioned, alongside our partner Visit Flanders, we presented a number of really interesting key stakeholders. We presented their methodology to help organizers maximize impact. Next year in Szczecin, we're going to be really building on that momentum. Guy, you mentioned it. What really sealed it for me was to see how the city sees the GDS Forum and Impact Day as a catalyst to inspire their citizens, to showcase the transformation they're doing in the city. They're really looking at us and you, the global community, to come and share with them in their journey. So it's going to be action oriented. We're going to be bridging the sustainability agenda with the impact agenda. We're going to be bringing in global and local change makers. There's some amazing young people with really, really impactful initiatives that you'll get to meet, and just having a day of sharing and co-creation. We're also going to have our media partner, the Iceberg, there, capturing everything. Using their signature video storytelling to capture the energy, the insights, and the outputs of that event. So we hope that all of you are going to join us in Szczecin to discover really this impact story that's in the making. So thank you for having us.
Yeah, and there's Jen and I are just back, and we were just blown away by the friendliness, the originality. You know, many of you, probably very few of you have been there. It's special. But what I love is this Team Poland approach as well is that the Polish Tourism Organization, the Convention Bureau, are coming together with the other Polish cities. So you're going to have a full Polish welcome, not just from Szczecin, from Gdansk and Krakow and the other pioneering cities participating in the GDS Index. And I'm really excited to see what we can do that. And our meetings, as Jen said, we've been meeting with universities and social enterprises and NGOs and businessmen and other industries. And we really want to use this event to catalyze the change there and use that as a kind of what we call it as a living laboratory. We want to
Yeah,
work
city as a lab.
to do stuff that's going to help Szczecin, but also will help all of us learn and think about the change.
Great.
So yeah, exciting.
Yeah, well, last year in Bruges was magical, so I'm sure next year will be much the same. So we all have something to look forward to. Speaking of which, so thank you very much for joining us, Geneviève. Now we have to announce the crowning of the best.
Is it mine?
Let's put. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Did you enter? I'm not sure we uploaded your picture.
No, thanks.
So thankfully, I don't think you were part of the vote. So hopefully you've all uploaded your pictures by now. And been pressing like and appreciation, because there's only one lucky winner who is going to Szczecin for free. Of course, everyone else will have to pay, and it'll still be great value and enjoy to go to. So, Guy, are you excited?
I'm very excited.
Exactly. It's the highlight of your answer.
It's our Mad Hatter's moment, isn't it?
So, without further ado, let's see which fabulous hat creation has received the most likes and captured everyone's imagination. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that is better than yours. Berger, the little great lake monster of Östersund in Sweden. Wow. So, yes, that is a clear winner.
That's a winner.
I mean, that's not just a hat, that's a head.
That's a full monster, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. How big is that?
Exactly. So Loch Ness.
I mean, I'm now imagining this thing is actually 4 feet high. You could fit a small child inside it.
Well, thank you for that. You made my day.
Yeah.
Good. So we've heard from different winners. We've heard some great stacks. For me, it's a celebration of leadership, a celebration of collaboration. What else?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been inspiring, but I think, this highlights a huge challenge. The headlines around tourism, and particularly those trends I was talking about right at the beginning, are often, frankly, a bit bonkers.
Yeah.
You hear a lot about over-tourism and the climate impacts and the strain on communities that, that can be really quite stressful. And yet we can still see positive things happening. We can build trust. We can do business and tourism in new and different ways. And for me, I think, that comes down to how you offer programs and opportunities for people to join it at any stage of the journey. And perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the kind of accelerator program that you're putting in place, which allows destinations to come in wherever they are on their journey.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting time, and we've learned a lot in the last 10 years, and some good stuff and some bad stuff, right? And what we've learned is that, the GDS index works. We can see that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that works. But we're making it a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. Right? So I think you just mentioned that, right? So how do we optimize that? How can we make this a little bit simpler to do? AI is going to help us a lot on this area. So there's a kind of optimization. But also, it's too difficult for many destinations as starting, especially those in parts of Asia, LATAM, Africa, places like that. And so we almost want to go back to basics. So we're introducing something called GDS Lite. So GDS Lite is a simpler version. Instead of 77 criteria, we're going to come down to 28 criteria. And Claudia and the team with the TAC have been working on this. So it's almost identical to index. You've still got to go through it. You've got to answer the same questions. You've got to put it in evidence, but it's simpler. It's simpler. And the focus is getting going. We've been working a lot with the University of Exeter at modeling the criteria and understanding how criteria makes transformation happen. So we've actually looked at the science of system change. And from that, it's really helped us model which are the right 28.
Yeah.
Out of 77, not all are the same. So 28 indicators affects more things. So we focused on that. So that will be launched shortly. And I'm really excited about that. So that's going to be a whole new area of destinations around the world that can come into this. It's not a ranking. It's different.
Yeah.
It's a performance improvement program. We get you off the starting blocks. We're helping you. And then the idea is, as quick as you can, you move into the index. I'm guessing it's going to be a kind of couple of years, but some people may be able to go faster. And some people will say, no, we're going to go straight to the index.
Yeah.
So it's kind of providing an on-ramp wherever they are. Okay. So you come on, you do the index. And then we're seeing two different things. We've got high performance destinations now who the index is not supporting enough. So we've kind of reached a limit almost with the index. We need to take to the next level for various reasons. So we're launching a pathway to certification. So in Omni, the system that the destinations use, the IT system that you use to fill out the index, you will then in the future press a button and you'll see how the index maps to a GSTC criteria, the Global Sustainable Tourism Council criteria. And from there, the team will help you work on that next level work, how to achieve GSTC compliance. Okay, so with support and consulting teams and the systems will support that journey to work on the next stuff that you need to do. Certification, in line with the European recommendations and new legislation, will have to be done by a third party. So that will be done by a third party organization, which we will announce next month, who will be doing that. And so there's a really key part to certification. But as some people in the audience will say, certification is not for me. And there's other areas of deep transformation work. So we're spending more time in areas developing, innovating new solutions around climate change, around regeneration, around impact, the Geneviève in their tone. So deep transformation work doesn't have to be certification. That's part of the journey, but there are other areas. And so that whole advanced solution stuff is the work, and we've seen that with the work we've done around regenerative visitor economy strategies. People like the north of England, the northeast of England, we've done that work with Visit England, people like that. So there's a lot of more deeper work we're going to. So it's exciting times. There's kind of an accelerator program, and we're kind of starting to think of rebranding as that because that's really clear in the IT world.
Yeah.
We want to get people accelerated, and that's what we're doing with the index, and we just want to go the next step.
Wonderful. That sounds exciting. Making it accessible, giving people a different way to begin.
Yeah.
So that pretty much brings us to the end of proceedings.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just like to reflect, I think, on like some of the themes that I think are coming through and what we've been talking about and what our winners are demonstrating and what the kind of leaders in their categories are doing. And I think one of those is clarity.
Yeah.
So it's using the insight of the index to know what to work on and when. So actually having that kind of ability to gauge where the priority measures should be taking place and what makes the biggest difference. I think there's something really powerful around the kind of the collaboration, actually doing things together, learning both within all the kind of the members of the movement, but also in country and even with your competitors, in that sort of fiercely friendly type of fashion. But I also think it's about the creativity, of doing things differently, because one of the things that we always face is like, we've gone for all the low hanging fruit, we've done the easy stuff, and inevitably things get tougher and more challenging. And so we have to step in and find new ways of addressing our challenges because the old ways are always going to come up short and be inadequate. And I think finally, in order to do those things, to have the clarity and the collaboration and the creativity, you've got to have the courage.
Yeah.
You've got to be brave. And particularly in the global context in which we find ourselves, this is a time of courage where you have to stand up and be counted, to believe in the values that you hold and then to manifest them out in the world. And I think that's where we're at.
And I think it's an incredibly exciting time. Some of these challenges seem quite impossible, but as our friends at XR say, only the impossible is interesting.
Exactly.
And so I would like to say, to wrap this up, thank you. Thank you, Ed, for joining me to share this. Thank you to our production team who are in the room next to us for putting this on, for our people that made the videos and scripted this. Thank you to all of you. Every one of you participate in the GDS Index is a winner. We're really, really conscious of that. We salute and celebrate all of your work. Thank you to our partners, our TAC, and I'm looking forward to next steps. Let's see each other next year face to face, but we're going to have a lot of work in the next few months to take this to the next level. So how exciting. So thank you very much.